Hello and welcome
to another 100% human video, my friend.
First and foremost, I wanted to say thank you for all the support on the YouTube channel lately. We have many new subscribers and people are actually enjoying the videos, and I'm really happy about that. Thanks for all the comments, I read them all. I don't reply to all of them, but I read them all. Yeah, I'm really glad that you guys enjoy it. Also, I wanted to say that we're going to try to produce more original content like this video. Yeah, we're gonna get started. Today is about my favorite no-hit runs ever, and I wanted to talk about it briefly. I don't want this video to be too long. I hope you enjoy the list. If you agree or disagree or think, oh man, there should be another run on that list. Obviously, there are so many no-hit runs and I could name so many more, but this is just my personal favorites basically, and I think those are great achievements, and that's why I wanted to list them. I'm gonna start right away with number 1, which would be GinoMachino, who would have thought, with his world's first no upgrades, no infusions, Dark Souls 3 no-hit run. It was and still is an incredibly impressive achievement, completing all bosses, including DLC 1 and 2, without taking a single hit, without leveling up your character, and without leveling up any weapon at all. You can use many things at your disposal, for example procs like bleed proc or frost procs to damage bosses, like the Dragon Slayer armor for example with frost, or Soul of Cinder with bleed. Impressive regardless. You have to fight these bosses for a long time, and it makes the run extremely difficult to achieve. At this point in time I think there are several people who achieve that, but it makes the achievement not less impressive, of course, and it was like a long time ago, so kudos to Gino for achieving that insane no-hit run. Number 2 is going to be the Happy Hop, ladies and gentlemen, with his world's first no-hit run ever, basically. Like, for transparency's sake, there have been a no-damage run before Hop achieved his world's first no-hit run. If you want to learn about it, there is a Carl Jobst video out about no-hit runs, and he talks about the world's first no-damage achieved by a Japanese streamer, I believe. But they blocked with their shields, which makes the achievement obviously not less impressive. It's just not a no-hit run anymore when you block. And Hop set out to do the impossible back then, 7 years ago, playing through Dark Souls 1 without taking a single hit. And that was supposed to be impossible. A lot of people told him, don't do it, dude. You're gonna go mad by trying. And he did it regardless. And he was successful. And that is the most impressive thing about this. Obviously, the run itself is impressive at this point in time, but also that everybody tells him that it's not possible and he can't achieve it. And he did it regardless, against all odds, against everybody telling him not to do it, and he achieved it for himself, and that makes the run really crazy. Also, I should say, we're gonna link these runs down below. You can take a look yourself if you want to watch some of this. Hop's run, for example, was completely different than the no-hit runs on Dark Souls 1 today. So if you want to see the differences from a no-hit run today to back then I would highly recommend checking out the video. Nowadays, there's an entire community routing these games, sharing strategies. Back then, Hop was basically alone. And yeah, the run looks completely different than it would look like today if you run Dark Souls 1. Number 3 would be Otzdarva. Otzdarva with his Dark Souls 2 all bosses no-hit run, including all DLCs, of course. Most of you guys probably know Otz, right? Otzdarva is known for his Dead by Daylight gameplay and streams today, of course. But back then he was also a hitless runner. He still is, of course, but he is playing a lot of Dead by Daylight these days. And he's very, very good at video games, which he already was when he ran Dark Souls 2. He was the world's first in Dark Souls 2 to beat it in its entirety without taking a single hit. He also did route it on his own, probably with the help of some community members, but it is a very, very long run. Dark Souls 2 has a lot of bosses, 41 or 42 bosses. Write it down below, I'm not quite sure. It's either 41 or 42, and it requires a lot of running around, killing a ton of enemies, and it is very, very tough. And I remember that there was one run where he made it all the way to the end, and then at the very end of it, he took like one hit to the last boss, the Ivory King, and had to start all over again. If I remember correct, he took a break and then came back after a while. and tried it again and achieved the run for himself, which, you know, makes it even more impressive because, you know, he just didn't give up on it. That's why I think this is one of my top 5 runs of all time. Number 4 would be the Happy Hop again with his Soulsborne no-hit run. As most of you know at this point, I like marathon runs a lot. I run them myself a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you horrible boss fight. I'm dead. And Hop started it with the first ever trilogy run, which could be on this list as well. But for me personally, the Soulsborne no-hit run is one of my favorite no-hit runs to watch ever, because it was like an arc I fully followed. When Hop started the trilogy run, I didn't really like follow all of it like daily almost, but on the Soulsborne no-hit run I did, and it was quite a story to watch, quite a journey to watch. He wanted to achieve it before Sekiro released, you know, beating all 5 games back to back. He did exactly 1 day before Sekiro release. And I remember the last week when he's really started grinding heavily. He grinded like 12 hours every single day like a madman. By a miracle chance, he just achieved it exactly 1 day before the release of Sekiro, which he set out to do. They called it the Destiny run back then because it was his last attempt, and it ended on Dark Souls 3 on Solo Cinder. Maybe Tom can like put the footage in here or something. And not only that, the crazy thing about this is that it was on the same day that Otzdarva achieved his like Dark Souls 2 all bosses run. And it was just a miracle day for Hitless. I remember it vividly because I was like super sick. I had like almost 40 degrees fever. And I was watching these runs in bed on my phone. Such an emotional ending for Hop. I really... like, I will never forget about it. That's why it's one of my favorite runs of all time. The next run would be a run from a runner that maybe some of you might have never heard of. I myself, to be honest, also didn't know about them before a Fireborn video I watched a couple of like a year ago or so. The name is Diego SB01. Diego SB, or Diego, set out to do something absolutely mind-blowing. He ran Hollow Knight, but not any percent or all bosses. He ran Hollow Knight 112%, including all the 5 Pantheons without taking a single hit, which is mind-blowing to me. Like, I tried to run Hollow Knight any percent, which is already really hard. I would argue Hollow Knight is a harder game than Dark Souls. The level of precision and speed you have to play it at is unmatched, at least from the games I played. And I feel like it is a mind-blowing achievement from Diego. I don't know if anybody else ever did that, but Diego was the first, and it is, I don't know, almost a little bit undervalued in my opinion. So Diego's run will be linked down below as well if you want to check it out yourself. It's also quite a long run, but obviously it's 112%. You have to kill every single boss. You have to do some side stuff with quests and stuff, right? So it's a very, very, very hard run, and I can only recommend watching it. It's a mind-blowing achievement in gaming history. Go and check it out. And the last, but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really like to do this a lot, but I'm gonna do it right now because I'm really proud of that achievement. It's myself. It's my first ever 5-game run on level 1. That was also a couple of years ago when I set out to do the Soulsborne no-hit run, like Hop did it, leveled, and I wanted to do it on level 1, which makes it much harder, of course. Not only you have to play Dark Souls 1, 3, Demon Souls, and Bloodborne on low level, you also have to play Dark Souls 2, which makes the run really, really, really tough, because Dark Souls 2 is a very, very, very hard game to beat on level 1, because most of you might know you can level up ADP, which gives you more iframes. You can't do that on level 1, of course. Also, the level 1 class on Dark Souls 2 is extremely weak. It has like only 6 of every stat, and yeah, that makes the level 1 class the weakest level 1 class out of all games. I set out to do this because Hop at this point ran the God Run 2 or the Soulsborne Ikiro run. I wanted to not compete against him, like head to head basically, and try to, oh, who gets it first or whatever. I just wanted to do something on my own without competition, and I thought this might be a good idea. It was a good idea in retrospect, but it took me 8 long months to achieve it, which makes it one of my personal favorite achievements. And even though I don't like to glaze myself up a lot, I'm very, very proud of this achievement. And if you, you know, might want to take a look, it's on this channel as well. It's also linked down below, so maybe you want to check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video, or these videos in general lately. As I said, we're gonna try to make more original content for YouTube. If you did like it, maybe, you know, give it a like down below, or write something into the comment that helps with the algorithm all the time, or subscribe to the channel, or check out my Twitch channel. I'm live here on YouTube and on Twitch almost every single day. We run challenge runs, you know, marathon runs, all that stuff. And yeah, again, thank you so much for the support on YouTube lately. That's very, very kind. The channel is growing, and I am really happy that that's the case. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, have a wonderful day. Love you. Say it back.
Dinossindgeil.